What's up, everybody? Welcome to Moose Milk Podcast, episode 47. 47. How the hell were we at 47 already? I accidentally almost typed 37. No idea how it's been already almost a year. Crazy how fast time goes. Anyways, I'm your host, Ryan. We're going to wait for Matt to join us, and we're going to dive into Hawkeye episode 1 and 2 that premiered on Wednesday on Disney+. So hopefully you've watched those, because we're going to dive into spoilers. But, yeah, hope everybody's doing well out there. Matt's here. He just joined, waiting for his request, and we'll jump right in. This guy, he's going to come. He's going to pop up right from the bottom. Then I get small. Look at me. Look small. There's Matt. Look at this guy. What a sexy swimming motherfucker.
You said to dive right in, so I dove right in.
I'll give you something you can dive in on. What's up, buddy?
Not much, man. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Happy American Thanksgiving.
I'm not celebrating this fake American bullshit.
Well, maybe our fans do.
I wish our fans the happiest of holidays, but Thanksgiving sucks. Period.
But you don't really like
so
any
does
holiday.
Christmas.
Yeah.
What's that?
You don't. I was just gonna say you don't really like any holiday like that.
Halloween.
Yeah, that's different.
That's my only holiday.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, BC Sasquatch, we'll be talking Hawkeye. Yes, sir. Yeah, Thanksgiving was a day ago. For Canada, it was a month and a half ago, so
yeah.
Who gives a shit?
Yep. But
I wish everybody has a great long weekend that's celebrating the Thanksgiving shit, you know. Time off work is awesome.
I agree.
How was your week?
My week was okay. It was busy again. But this should be my last stupid busy week actually. After probably Monday or Tuesday, all my time sensitive stuff is all gone. So
yeah,
nice. I'll be able to just go at a normal pace instead of going I think almost every day this week I worked at night too. I would put in a couple hours at 11.
You gotta stop that shit, man.
Gotta get it done, man.
No, you gotta stop that shit.
Got them deadlines.
I'm part of Ojibwe. Go home, everybody. Yeah. I mean, I hate Thanksgiving. I don't understand why we celebrate it still. But
yeah, I like turkey, so I'll take it.
Don't like turkey.
Oh yeah, that's right. You're one of those weird people.
I don't like ham either.
Also,
sue me.
That's okay. So I would say that if not liking ham is less weird, but
yeah, turkey's boring, man. Give me some real meat.
Turkey is not boring if you cook it right.
Sorry, if we're gonna rank the hierarchy of meat, turkey is number 4.
No.
Yeah, beef. All variations of beef better.
Yeah, beef.
Chicken.
For sure.
All variations of chicken better. Pork, pork chops, better.
See, I'm not a pork chop guy. I love pork, but I'm not a pork chop guy. I like a pork tenderloin.
Pork tenderloin, great.
So good.
Turkey, number 4.
Smoking a turkey, that's another one. Pretzel Grass says smoke a turkey, it's way better. And I agree with you on that. I've had smoked turkey and it's amazing.
It's fine. If somebody was like, here's some turkey or you can starve to death, I'd go, okay, I'll eat turkey. That's
I like to know that the way you eat turkey is when you're faced with certain death.
Yeah. If I was on an island and it was like, you can die or you can eat some turkey, I'd be like, all right, I'll have turkey. But if it was like, you can have anything else or turkey, I'd pick anything else. It's fine.
It's fine. It's good. I like all of the little side plates that go with turkey. That's why I think, it's not even just turkey, it's the meal. It's I love the turkey, but I love the gravy, but I fucking love the stuffing. Oh man.
See? We're very opposite people. Yeah, we're talking to Hawkeye. First we're gonna break down turkey and how it's bullshit. Sure. And then we'll get into Hawkeye. No, it's fine. Like I said, stuffing sucks. Sorry. Gravy sucks. Don't eat gravy on anything. Gravy sucks. Hey, you want some hot liquid salt? Here you go. Nah.
That's not even a close to good representation of what you're eating. And if it is, I'm not ever going to your parents' house for dinner ever.
No, not my parents. Anytime you get like fucking poutine or anything, it just tastes like salt.
It can be heavily salted, but don't have to be that way.
Yeah, I mean, look, I get people that like enjoying it with their family, and if that's what makes you happy, like, oh, turkey with the family, I'm like, hey, go hog wild. But
what he's basically just trying to say is, get off my lawn. That's pretty much what he's trying to say.
Just leave me alone, man. I don't want to celebrate your bullshit. It's like work put on Christmas music in fucking November. It's like, come on, dude. It's November.
Again, me and you, totally different. Like, I've been listening to Christmas music all week.
Why?
But it's different also because, like, I remember when I worked at retail level, like when I worked at store level, like, but I always liked Christmas music. But by the time I actually got to Christmas, I was over it.
Why does anybody like Christmas music? There's never been a good Christmas song.
I like Christmas music. I think it's good. I just usually get tired of it by the end, but
that's like saying I like masturbating with a cheese grater. It doesn't make any sense.
I like how BZ Sasquatch says gravy is awesome. Put that shit in a shooter glass and feed me. Love it. And I agree. Turkey tired is the best. You get a good nap after that. Oh.
But you can take a nap after any good meal.
It's true. But poultry in particular has extra, what is it? Something that makes you sleepy.
Yeah, I understand that, but I'm tired enough. I don't need my food to make me more tired.
Listen here. No one has time for your anti-turkey ways, sir.
Society, man. That's the problem. It's fucking society.
This is how this night's gonna be. We haven't even talked this week, so we don't even know. I don't even know how Ryan liked Hawkeye.
No, I avoided you like herpes, man. I didn't want to know what your thoughts were because I wanted to go into this blind with your opinions.
Yeah, fuck yeah. I tried to rewatch both like episodes again, but I only got through like some of the first one. I just didn't have time. So
yeah, I haven't had time to watch them again. I watched them once each. So
yeah. Whoa, shit.
Anything else you want to get into? Like what you've been watching, what you've been doing? Did you go hang gliding this week? Anything?
No hang gliding. But,
no hang gliding. Okay, we got that under the table.
Yeah. But we have been working on our Home Alone house, our Lego Home Alone house. So how's that going? Like it's slow, like but it's going. Like it's yeah. I mean, I guess it's hard because it's not really like a 2-person thing. So it's like what we're kind of doing is like I'm kind of assembling the pieces and she's putting them together, and then we'll like swap. Yeah. Sorry for that loud cough. I didn't mean to do that.
It's not like a puzzle where you can like double team it. You know, like hey, I'll start doing like the perimeter. You start doing some of the other parts. Like Lego's kind of like, hey, this is step A, and you can't jump ahead to step C. Like
and it's like get out of my way. It's like you're in a tight spot, right? So
yeah.
And yeah, we've been watching Christmas movies all week. So we've been watching what we watched. We watched Home Alone, and then we watched Home Sweet Home Alone, which
was it good?
No, it's terrible. Like it was funny because as we're watching it, Kate's like she's like getting mad, and she's like, this doesn't deserve the title of Home Alone, right? There is a little callback. I won't spoil it. I mean,
I've read it.
Yeah, so okay, maybe I will just spoil it really quick. So for anybody who doesn't want to know this spoiler, it's kind of one of those obvious things. For Home Sweet Home Alone, that's the
Home Alone 5.
That's the Home Alone remake. So here's the spoiler in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Buzz is the cop, so he's the cop in it, but he actually is Buzz McAllister, and he references the first movie, so it's like in that universe, but it still was terrible. And it's
Does
weird.
it set
like,
up like a sequel or anything?
No. No. I can't remember. It was so bad. No, not really. I don't think so.
Because you know what would be if I was making a Home Alone sequel, I would find Macaulay Culkin or Macaulay Culkin. Sorry, I'm really tired. Macaulay Culkin. That's what I was going to name him.
Let's call him.
Fucking hell. And I would plant him as a parent, and then him accidentally leave his kid home alone, and that'd be like the whole setup. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, you have to get him back at some form in some way. Like, to me, that's the actual move.
The thing is, though, is like, is there even a market for that? Like, to me, if they made a new Home Alone movie and Kevin McAllister, it was just Kevin was the parent and it was the same thing. Like, I don't feel like I would be into that. I feel like I'd be like, okay, like, we've all done this before. You in particular have done this before. Like, I'm having a hard time buying that you left your kid home alone. How's that fucking work? Like, you check for your wallet, your keys, and your kid at that point when you forget them at home. Like, and you've been forgotten at home. Yeah, nah. So, but yeah, it was like there was some parts that were like funny. I mean, obviously, when you put Ellie Kemper and what's his name, who was in it?
I don't know.
Fuck, Rob Delaney.
I just knew Ellie Kemper.
Okay, so Rob Delaney and her are kind of like the two that break into the house or whatever. Yeah. So, but yeah, they were funny, but it was just, yeah, it wasn't good. It was very bad.
I don't think you can do a lot of the things they did in the original today. No. Like, I think people would be like, "Oh, you can't put that in a kids' movie." Like, you know. So
yeah,
80s was a different time.
Yeah, I guess so. And then we watched one of my favorites is Christmas Vacation, National Lampoons. So we watched that.
My favorite Christmas movie.
Yeah, it's so good. And we watched Four Christmases with Vince Vaughn, which is also very good. And then tonight we watched The Holiday. So
next is Die Hard.
Die Hard I usually save for closer to New Year's because I watch it with my father-in-law. Me and Mickey watched it last year.
It's the only Christmas movie you need.
It is a good Christmas movie. I will agree.
Yep.
And yeah, a couple episodes of Always Sunny too.
Nice.
Just slowly creeping my way through it, and I've been listening to the podcast as well, which is funny.
So good.
Very funny.
New Always Sunny next week.
Starts next week? Oh, nice.
Wednesday.
I'll have to get to it eventually because I'm just going to keep going down the list.
No, that's perfect because by the time you catch up, there'll be like 5 or 6 episodes probably, and then you can just boom, you know.
Yeah. Always Sunny is great. Yeah, so.
Oh, it's phenomenal.
I really got into them mostly because of you. Because that one time when I came home, you like curated like a selection of episodes for us to watch, and we watched.
That's how I got into it.
Like 6 hours. It was so fucking funny.
Yeah, I couldn't get into the show originally because it just felt like something me and my friends would write. Like it's very I don't know how to say it. Like, I mean, they even admitted on the podcast that they're not like professional writers and they're basically just writing, you know, whatever they could do. So I feel that in a lot of ways where it feels like a group of friends just writing a show together, and it's just like the silly shenanigans that friends would get into. And that's why I couldn't get into it, because I felt like I could write the show. But then once I actually got into it, I was like, oh, they're way funnier than I could ever be. Like, you know. But yeah, that's how I got into it. Brent and Brian came over and curated like a list of like, I don't know, 25 episodes or something to watch. And then once I dove into that, then I started from the beginning. But yeah, it's so good.
Yeah, so I watched everything I could on Star, seasons 1 to 8. I think I watched it 3 times. Like, not sat down and watched it, but had it playing in the background. And then, yeah, now I'm slowly making my way. I got through 9, 10, and 11. 11? Almost done 11. So.
You're catching up slowly.
Yeah, Pretzelgrass Community, that's another thing I watched this week. I watched all 3 Christmas episodes of the Community Christmas episodes.
Nice.
And I also, man, I did a lot of stuff. I watched a lot this week. And I also watched, I rewatched again, I Think You Should Leave. Not quite all of it, but most of it.
I watched a few episodes, but it didn't compel me to go back to it, but I will at some point.
Yeah, fuck, I think it's really funny. It's just, I love his writing style. It's so funny.
I have to be in the right mood for it, you know.
Oh, and I watched Michael Che, the co-anchor for Weekend Update on Saturday Night Live. His stand-up on Netflix that just came out. I think it's called Something Shame. I can't
Is it
remember
good?
what it's called, but yeah, it's pretty funny. I laughed. I mean, it wasn't like it wasn't the best I think I've ever seen.
I've never found him that funny on SNL, so
I find him funny on SNL, but he's a lot like less like he's not so clean. I guess he's not really super clean on SNL.
I don't know.
Either, but yeah,
since Seth Meyers left SNL, Weekend Update just hasn't hit for me, you know.
I like Colin Jost.
Colin Jost. Yeah, I'm not a fan.
I think he's funny. I think they're both funny, but yeah, I personally I love Seth Meyers. He's fucking hilarious.
Seth Meyers is amazing. Yeah.
So good. I watch his show still. I watch his monologues and stuff every night. I don't watch the actual show, but yeah. And that's I probably did watch more, but you're gonna say yours now because I got nothing else.
I didn't watch a whole lot. I had a busy week too, so my dog's not going to stop barking because he's a complete asshole. But yeah, I finished Punisher season 1.
Nice.
Yeah, it's more brutal than I remember it being, and I don't know if I've just become more squeamish with old age, but there's some scenes in there where I was like, "Holy fuck, man, this is gratuitous! This is crazy," but it's really good.
I just remember the end of that first episode where he buries that guy in the cement or whatever, and I'm just like,
yeah,
that's fucking amazing. If this is what we're gonna be doing this series, count me in. I'm there for fucking.
It's awesome, but it's very gratuitous. But
it is.
I love it. I mean, this is the perfect Punisher. But yeah, I finished that this week. I haven't watched much else. I mean, my normal shows of Survivor, The Challenge.
How you liking Survivor?
Still watching Dexter, Succession, Curb Your Enthusiasm. But other than that, I just haven't had a lot of time this week. So I've been playing a little bit of video games here and there. But
nice.
Yeah,
busy week. How have you liked Survivor this year?
It's different. It's they've changed a lot of rules. They're trying to kind of modernize it a little bit, so it's a little more inclusive and a lot more variety of background and race and stuff in the casting. And I don't know, it's fine. It's not, the casting's good. There's just too many twists and stuff in the game that's kind of ruined the strategy of the game, where they've put too much convoluted twist into the game where you're always like, oh Jesus, this person has it, this twist and this favor and this, that, and it's too convoluted. They need to go back to a little bit more of the basics and kind of just make it more about strategy rather than twists, to make it entertaining. But I mean, I'm a big Survivor guy, so I mean, I've watched every season, Australian Survivor as well. So,
you love it, mate.
Yeah. But other than that, not a whole lot. Finished Back for Blood, video game. Started playing It Takes Two today. Playing Spider-Man Miles Morales.
Nice.
Yeah. So, and then Lego, of course. I've been doing the Lego build.
That's cool.
Coming together. It's a slow process. A lot of pretty detailed shit going on in some steps where I'm like, well, Jesus Christ, stickers and all this little puny shit that I have arthritis in both my hands, so it's really hard to do the little small, intricate things. But yeah, pretty fun. And then of course, Hawkeye,
that guy,
which I enjoyed.
Hockey, you liked it? Yeah, so did I. I liked it too. How about? I mean, no one should be surprised at this point that I like it. I'm pretty easy to please on this front.
Yeah, I mean, I found it pretty fun. I found it funny. I felt like it didn't really do a whole lot in those 2 episodes. I feel like we didn't get very far in the plot, but yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. I'm excited to see where it goes.
Yeah, I liked it too. There's a lot of cool little things kind of put in there, which is kind of cool that I didn't expect. since I kind of stopped reading up on like all the minute details of every show, it's a lot easier to go into it and be surprised when I come out with little not teasers, but like Easter eggs and shit like that, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I liked like the dynamic, that we finally find out that Clint's like hearing is gone, and I like how he's like can't even figure out like where that came from. It's just like it's like he thinks back to when it could, all the times it could have been, and it's like like 5 different times, kind of like flash in front of his face, and it's like, man, this guy's been through fucking hell. Like he's been through a lot of shit.
Yeah, I mean, not diving into spoilers quite yet too hard, but I just wanted to say, like, yeah, I think they hit the nail on the head in a way of like, he doesn't have superpowers. He's like the least liked or least popular Avenger. They still kind of give him some comedic chops, but they got that nice character dynamic, like buddy cop almost between him and
Kate Bishop.
What's her face? What's that?
Kate Bishop.
Yeah, Kate Bishop. Yeah. It just, they have a good dynamic. They have a good flow as actors together, and it works as far as the show goes. He's kind of a dick, but kind of cocky, and she's eager to learn, but also kind of thinks she knows what she's doing, and it works really well for the show.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely like the back and forth between them, and I like how she thinks she's so much better than him at a lot of stuff, and it's like he just constantly just like puts her in her place. Yeah,
it's good. It's got a good fun dynamic, and it's got that Christmassy vibe of the right time of year. Kind of feels a little bit like Die Hard at times. Kind of feels like a little bit like Home Alone or like something like that, where they're kind of outwitting the enemy and setting up traps and setting up, like things like that. Like it's cool. It's fun. It's I'm excited to see where it goes. It sucks that it's such a short season.
It's funny that you say that, because I actually didn't piece together the Home Alone, but now that you say that and just how you explained it, I'm like, wow, that is kind of Home Alone-y. I definitely get like hardcore Die Hard vibes from it though, like big time.
Very Die Hard, very Die Hard. It's crazy how Die Hard he is.
Pretzelgrass says, I think they could tone up the violence, but it's a Disney show. Yeah. I don't think the violence necessarily needs to be there. I hope that when we get to the point where we see some fights, though, that they maybe are a bit more... well, to me, I mean, it doesn't need to be there, but yeah, I mean, I can appreciate it, but I don't need it to be there just to be there, I guess. Like, it's like, the thing is with Hawkeye is, like, he's good at far and, like, close up, too, right? So I'm sure we're going to get a variety of fight scenes when we get going here. So
yeah, I don't think it needs to be uber violent to get the point across, and I think it'd be very difficult to make it like Punisher level of violence. It wouldn't fit the show really.
It wouldn't fit the character either. It's not like Clint.
No, it doesn't fit the
character either, right? He's non-lethal as whatever possible, right? So
yeah, I mean, like, I love violent shows and I love that type of thing, but it just doesn't really suit the show at this point. I think there's room for it, but obviously, it's on Disney Plus. It's not going to be some like hard R Disney Plus Marvel show. It's just not going to happen. But there was some pretty good like fight scenes and stuff where I was like, oh, this is fun. Like, this is it's not like bloody violent, but it's violent enough where it's fun action scenes.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah, I mean, Brutal Heroes, Moon Knight, Daredevil, Batman. Yeah. I mean, it's coming. And that's the thing is, if we do get Daredevil, if we do get Punisher back, that kind of thing, there's room for violence. Blade, I'm sure, is going to be a violent movie. So
yeah, it's not like Deadpool is going to go soft either in that sense, right?
No.
Like, I think they pretty much said Deadpool will stay R-rated or something, didn't they?
Yeah, they said it plans on being R-rated. So I think there's room for everything, and do I wish things trended more adult? Yeah, sure. But I think for this show, it so far it's hit the nail on the head. Like, it doesn't have to be over the top violent to make the show work.
I agree.
Yeah. I mean, let's get into spoilers. It doesn't have to be too deep, too crazy. But I mean, yeah, we're going to spoil the show, but I mean, we don't have to get
absolutely.
too intense into every plot detail, but
Yep, we are. Every single one.
Yeah. I liked where it's going. I mean, I read a little bit outside of like trying to get a little more character detail and everything like that on a few things. So I mean, I have a few notes, but I thought it did well. I thought it set up a lot of things, and it's a short season, so I think it has to move pretty quickly.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It seems like we've already got a couple like kind of things out there that are going to progress the story. So it's kind of nice to be going into episode 3 and already kind of having an idea of where we're heading to a certain degree, anyway.
Yeah, and I mean the episodes were like 45 minutes each, which is nice.
Great. Yeah, I love that. I'll take that all day long.
Yeah.
Tracksuit.
I wish they would put out 2 episodes every week.
Yeah, that'd be good, but then it'd be over in 3 weeks. I gotta say, I know a lot of people. This is not the. I know that this is not the common thought. Like, I think most people are of the same mind as you, but like honestly, I much prefer the week to week. I love the. I love the like wait. It's something I look forward to next week, and it's something I can like enjoy again if I. It's like I can see it the first time, have an opinion, then I talk to you, and then I get to either watch it again before I talk to you, or I'll watch it again before I see next week's, and then I'll watch like a couple videos of similar things that we're doing, and I'm just like, yeah. By the time I get to the next episode, I'm like fucking pumped. I'm so excited.
Yeah, I mean, we just fundamentally disagree on that. I mean, I'd rather watch everything at once. I love binging things. I hate waiting week to week. I'm the type of person that like can't stand waiting in a line anywhere. Like I want things when I want it immediately, and I hate a set schedule of you have to wait to this time on this day to watch the next episode. I can't stand it. So
I just think like for me, it's just like I can't commit to binge watching. Like my wife will sit down and watch like a whole show on a weekend, and I'm just like,
yeah, that's me.
I can't dedicate 8 hours to watching TV. Like I'll fall asleep.
Yeah, I that's the way I watch everything. Like if I can sit down for 12 hours straight and finish the season, like I'll do that. Like that's the way
I just can't commit to that for that long. Like I just because the thing is when I actually want to watch something, like I put my phone away, because like if I don't, I'll just be on my phone. Like if I'm on my phone, I'm not watching TV. So it's like when I sit down with the intention of like watching something, the phone goes away until the credits come up. So
yeah, that's fine. I mean, I have no problem doing that. I could literally throw my phone in a river for the weekend and be fine. I don't care. Like if I'm really into a show or really into whatever a movie or whatever I'm watching, I won't even look at my phone anyway. Like it's not a big deal. If I'm bored by the episode or bored by the show, then yeah, I'll pick up my phone and look at, Twitter or whatever. But generally, if I'm watching a show and willing to binge a show, I'm not bothered by my phone. It's not a right question.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
So,
well,
how much did you know going into this? Like, how much do you know about Kate Bishop? How much did you know about this storyline in Hawkeye? Like,
I know, like, kind of what the storyline's about, the faction storyline is about. I think. Oh no, is it faction? Oh, I think it is faction.
I don't know.
I think it may pull from 2. Anyways, I kind of know a little bit, not a lot. Like the thing is like in the comics, these characters are not characters I follow. So like,
yeah, same.
I enjoy Clint in the MCU. I think, but again, like the reason I like Clint is like I like his sense of humor. It's like, like I think, and I said this a couple weeks ago when we were talking about being ready for Hawkeye. I was like, I love how that episode in Age of Ultron where he's like, there's robots attacking the city, and I have a bow and arrow, and like, but we're fucked, basically, right? Like, it's like, I love that. I love that. So it's
he's the most grounded character. I mean, he's just a dude. And
I like how Kate Bishop even makes fun of that. How she kind of, I feel like she's gonna be the reason why he gets like a costume, like another costume, right? Because it's just, because she's like, you gotta market yourself better.
Yeah. And I like that they said that. Like I liked how like kind of in the beginning where he's at the like Broadway play and they're really focusing on every other character rather than Hawkeye. Like in the songs, in the whole dance number, everything. Like obviously Iron Man's very prominent and Hulk and like all these things, but Hawkeye's kind of just like this background character that like nobody really gives a fuck about. Then he's like walking down the street with Kate at some point, and all these characters are cosplaying, and she's like, "Oh, that one's you," and he's like, "No, that's Katniss Everdeen from Hunger Games." Like he's that character that like, yeah, he's never been that beloved character that like everybody wants to cosplay as, or everybody, you know, even in your like, you know, customs field, I'm sure there's not like a humongous demand for the Hawkeye figure
To be
compared
honest,
to,
it's probably not the best example because there actually is a lot of demand for Hawkeye because Hasbro's notoriously omitted him. Like, considering the amount of figures the other original Avengers have gotten, he has one like pretty hard to find from like the early Avengers movie.
yeah.
And then he never got one for Age of Ultron. He never got
Well, that's
one
what I
for
mean. Is
Civil
he's
War.
not like, it's wanted because it was probably a smaller manufacturer custom or you know, figure. Like there's can't be that many hardcore Hawkeye fans compared.
No, I don't think there is. I think there's more
compared to
people
the
who are,
rest.
like hardcore MCU fans who want every figure represented. That's kind of more what it is, right?
Yeah, but you know, I like that it's very prominent that he's not the most compelling character. He's not the most favored superhero. And they make him human with, like he has a hearing aid all the time within the Avengers, of all the explosions and all the mayhem that he's seen has fucked up his hearing because he doesn't have some superpower that he's like, you know, healing from or whatever. Like, he's a human and he can't hear well anymore. And that's cool. That's cool. It makes him human, you know?
Yeah, it's like when he goes to the drugstore and he picks up like all the painkillers and stuff.
Yeah.
It's very funny. But on the other hand, though, it's like, it's funny. It's not funny because like when he goes to the dinner or the Chinese restaurant with his kids at the beginning and they like pick up his bill and they're like, "Thank you for saving our city," or whatever, right? So it's like, it does show that he is at least kind of known. But yeah, it sucks because he's like, he seems to be like the least kind of. It's weird how much they play both sides because remember that guy comes into the bathroom with him and he's like, "You're my kid's favorite Avenger. Will you take a selfie?"
Yeah. But I think he's known enough where people know who he is, but I don't think he's like, you know, if somebody saw Tony Stark on the street, he'd be mobbed and there'd be all these people around him where, you know, one person comes up to a bathroom and asks him for, you know, an autograph or a selfie or whatever. Like, he's not that like mobbed, loved superhero, but people are appreciative of what he's done. And yeah, like I think if, you know, if he was standing beside on the street with Leonardo DiCaprio or something like that, like people would be swarming Leonardo DiCaprio, not swarming him. And like people know who he is, but it's just like, oh yeah, he's just a dude. He's just a guy, man. Like, you know.
Yeah. He's not this super powered guy.
Yeah, but I mean, Kate as a child sees him in the first Avengers movie, basically saving New York. He, you know, shoots a bunch of fucking aliens jumping off a building and shit, and that's where she becomes like kind of obsessed with Hawkeye and falls in love with the idea of like using a bow and arrow as a weapon. So from a young age, she's been training to be this, you know, bow and arrow master basically. And yeah, I think that was a cool setup. I think that's a cool way to introduce the character.
I mean, technically, he kind of saved them because he stopped the aliens from going into her, right? So,
yeah.
I gotta say that, like, I always love those different point of views when you get old content, like, and then you get like new shot footage. So, like that scene where Hawkeye jumps off the building and shoots out or whatever, like we get to see it from a different angle, and it's I love that shit, man. It's so cool.
Yeah, like I said, they're very good at making older movies new again by showing extra footage or changing scenes or giving longer scenes or whatever. They've done this in a lot of recent movies, and I think that's a really cool way of making movies better and giving kind of a new way to look at older stuff.
Yeah, I agree. I also like that LARPing scene that Pretzel Grass is talking about.
Yeah.
That was pretty funny. Again, it's just like it's like they're trying to like humanize him or something. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah, I mean, I think he just thinks that the whole LARPing scene is kind of silly, and it is. I mean, it's a it is a little bit silly, but it's something that I think he realized by the end of it, like it's just kind of fun, and everybody takes it serious, but they're also just taking it serious because it makes it more fun. But yeah, I thought that whole scene was really funny. I really liked it.
Me too. Yeah, me too. And then
I like that it added to the Ronin thing.
I was just gonna bring up Ronin because we haven't really brought Ronin up yet.
Yeah.
So yeah, kind of early in the beginning, there's like a private auction thing, and they're auctioning off Ronin's blade and his costume. And then like the building gets attacked, and Kate Bishop ultimately ends up stealing the costume and putting it on and fighting a bunch of mobsters or whatever, I guess. I don't know. And that's how like we kind of get entangled with Kate and Hawkeye. Is like, Hawkeye finds out about this and he's like, I have to fucking get this suit back, and then finds out what she's
and he realizes that girl's going to be attacked.
Yeah,
because of wearing that suit. He realizes that the mayhem he caused as Ronin is going to have a lot of bad people after her, and unintentionally,
Yeah.
But I think that was like the biggest disappointment of Endgame was that Ronin had a whole, 3-minute scene, and that was the end of Ronin. And now we're going to finally see, I think, a little bit more of that. Of his time as Ronin. I think there's going to be probably a flashback scene in one of the coming episodes that kind of prolongs that. And yeah, I think it's really cool that, it's kind of his worst moment. It's kind of like he looks back on it as like, I kind of, went off the deep end without my family. And not that he's regretful of it necessarily, but that he knows that he did cause a lot of enemies to come after him and look for him, even though they don't know who was Ronin.
He's like, I've lost my family. I have nothing to live for. Let's tattoo my arm and get a crazy rooster haircut.
Hey, man, that's what I would do.
That's so funny. But yes.
No, I like that. I like that she put on the costume. I like that, she can hold her own against a bunch of mobsters. That's pretty cool. She's got the comedic chops immediately. Like, she does a really well job of making her extremely likable. I thought they kind of hung on her family life a little too much, but it was fine.
Kate Bishop's mom's fiance is Swordsman. That's, they're saying, is the villain for this season. I didn't know that was the villain, but that was one of the ones I was surprised by when I was watching it. They said the name, and I was like, isn't that the Swordsman? I swear. Like, I don't know the character, but all I remember is from the Marvel Handbook. So it's like, I know that just those little bits. Hung on to it for some reason over the years, but yeah, I was like, oh shit, that's kind of cool. And then I liked how like Kate has like a, like she's also like she can do fencing and stuff too. So the whole scene with her and Jack doing the fencing, I was just like, that's fucking awesome.
And she also is trying to manipulate the situation and get information out of him, and she knows that he's full of shit, and she's trying to like kind of convince her mom that he's full of shit.
Blow his cover,
Yeah. I'm not familiar with the character or anything, but I still like, I mean, this is kind of more spoilers or whatever, but I definitely think they're setting up fucking Kingpin for this season. Like, I definitely think Huh?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Yeah, I think, I mean, we'll get into more of, the late episode 2 kind of ending, but from what I've read is like that's basically where it has to be heading towards, is Kingpin reemerging. So
yeah. I mean, as soon as you start introducing all these different gangs, like, it just works with Kingpin so well. It's like, why wouldn't you? And then it's like when you hear that he was rumored, and you've heard he's been rumored for such a long time, it's just like this makes way too much sense for it to not be true. Like,
well, I mean, so we'll just dive into it now that we're talking about it. I mean, Echo, who's the character they introduced at the very end of this episode 2, you see like a little tiny snippet, and that is Echo, who's spinning her own spin-off show later on. I think next year,
which they've apparently dubbed as like Daredevil season 4. Apparently,
yeah. So from what I've read, and I'm not familiar with the character from the comics. I've just read a bunch of shit online, but she's Kingpin's adoptive daughter. She falls in love with Matt Murdock, not knowing that he's Daredevil, and has massive ties to Daredevil, has massive ties to X-Men, and from everything I've read is she's like very tied into that whole universe. So like it would be very crazy for her not to be involved with bringing back Daredevil, bringing back Kingpin, bringing back or starting the whole X-Men storylines of all that too.
That'd be that'd be amazing. So I really hope we start seeing some mutants show up somewhere here sooner than later.
Yeah, it's got to happen.
Or even just I really liked your theory from last week about Spider-Man that you read. That was like when Doctor Strange in the trailer is like, I can't stop them. Yeah. It's like mutants coming to our timeline. That'd be cool. We shouldn't go into that too much, but yeah.
I swear to God, if that happens during that movie, I'm gonna explode. Like I'm all over the theater.
I'm excited. I'm excited for that.
It's gotta happen. It's gotta happen soon, man. There's too much buildup. They can't keep us hanging on forever,
Yeah. Well, they have. But yeah.
Yeah, but you know what I mean.
I know what you mean.
No, I think overall it's really cool. I liked that she rescued that dog. That dog was cute as fuck.
Pizza dog.
And I was like, oh man, she's feeding it pizza. That's great. Fucking, he's got like one eye. That's great.
It's Lucky.
I hope he sticks around.
I think it's Lucky the Pizza Dog, I'm pretty sure is the name, but
I dig it. Her apartment was sweet.
Very
then
cool.
It gets burnt down, but I have a feeling she's gonna come back to it at some point. But like, it seemed like a pretty cool set piece.
Yeah, I like that too.
I like seeing Clint's family back in it.
Me too.
It could have easily been like.
I like his wife. I like the girl who plays his wife.
Well, I like that there's no secrets between them. Mm-hmm. She knows exactly what he's up to. She knows that he's got some superhero shit to do in New York. He sends the kids back to her. She's like, be safe, but do what you got to do kind of thing. Like, I like that.
Yeah.
It's not like some secret identity, like, oh, I can't tell you what I'm doing. Hush, hush. I like that aspect. That she knows exactly what he's doing and she's okay with it. And that's cool.
Yeah. I like that too.
I like that his kids are kind of growing up and becoming more part of the MCU and all that stuff. Like, I think that's cool. But yeah, like, it could have easily been like the Clint show where his family was like forgotten, or, oh, my family's safe in Utah and I'm in New York, and like, they're not really touched on as characters in any way. They're just, away.
They just omit them.
Exactly. Omit. And no, they're part of the episode. They're part of, it shows that he's trying to get close with his kids after everything that's happened, and he's kind of retired, and like, I like that aspect of it. I was like, yeah, cool. This is an interesting take.
And when you add the Christmas piece into it too, it makes it better too, right? So
yeah, but then again, it was very Home Alone, where it's like, oh, we got to get back to Kevin for Christmas, and like, he's gonna spend Christmas alone, and like, his mom running through fucking New York and finding the big Christmas tree and waiting for Kevin at the Christmas tree and all that shit. Like, it was like very Home Alone, where he's like, don't worry, I promise you I'll be home for Christmas, and like all that shit.
Pretzel Grass says, I think it's cool that in the midst of all the action, I'm still worried if Clint will make it home for Christmas.
It's true though. You're like, oh, I hope he does get home to his family for Christmas, and like, but I also think that like they could end the Clint storyline with this show.
Totally. Yeah.
It's like he gets home for Christmas and lives happily ever after, and that's the end of his storyline. Is like, he's retired. He's handed the mantle to Kate Bishop, and he's like, yeah, I'm good. I'm done. Like, this is my out. You take my job, and this is my time with my family,
Maybe Pretzel Grass can answer this because he seems to be familiar with Echo. But is Echo eventually becomes Ronin in the comics? Yeah.
She eventually becomes Ronin, and eventually she, I guess, takes the Phoenix powers from Jean Grey.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. That would be fun. I could get into that. Cool. Very cool. Yeah, I mean, overall, man, like, I really like this. It had my attention. It was the right amount of fun, and I loved it. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, it had the right balance of a show, and like it does have that MCU formula a little bit, but I hope that this was just a nice setup. Like if they only released Pretzel Grass says everyone has had the Phoenix at some point.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's
true. It had the right balance, and if it was only one episode this week and we had to wait for that second episode till next week, I think it would have been a lot more of a letdown. But because it kind of set up where the season's going and they put the 2 episodes back to back, I felt like it worked a lot better than it would have.
Yeah, I agree.
And I'm very excited to see next week's episode. I hope that we get a lot of action, a lot of, really cool scenes.
It seems like that's where we're about to kind of kick into, so that's a good
I hope
sign.
they got a lot of like the character development and storyline out of the way, and then we get a few like really badass action episodes.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm excited. I'm excited to see how this progresses. So, and again, I like that we're starting to see more comic accurate costumes too.
Yeah.
It looks like Clint's at some point going to wear the shirt with the purple Hawkeye logo on it. So that's kind of cool. And Kate's looking pretty comic accurate to me. So maybe a bit more tactical, but yeah.
No, I mean, from the trailers we've seen, we know that there's like a couple cool action scenes coming with car chases and shit like that, where she's got different types of arrows and, trick arrows and all that shit. So there's definitely some really cool action scenes coming up. But, I think by episode like 5, maybe we'll get Kingpin, and then that will be like the big season finale as like, she thinks her stepdad or whatever is like the big bad, but by like episode 5 or 6 that we get the realization that Kingpin's pulling all the strings.
I feel like if we go that path, Echo won't be Kingpin's daughter. I feel like she'll be.
I think that will be the setup.
You think that's what they'll do?
Yeah, I think the storyline's going to be is that she's his adoptive stepdaughter. She's kind of running the gangs in his place, while he's kind of remains in the background again because, whatever, he escaped from prison or whatever the case may be, that he's kind of in hiding and doesn't want to, everybody to realize that he's back. He's kind of pulling the same thing he did in Daredevil 1, where nobody says his name, nobody really sees him kind of thing. She's kind of pulling the strings or whatever. And yeah, I think that's a smart way to go. And that, then he comes back into the foreground again, and they reintroduce him as whatever version they want, and that sets up the future of Daredevil.
I guess like for me, I just think like they're gonna try to like. She probably doesn't need to be the daughter if they could just make her like a close, like long time accomplice, like somebody who's worked with them by their side forever. Like I just feel like trying to explain how he had a daughter when people have the already thought in their mind of him from Netflix, if they've seen that, like I feel like they're going to try to avoid that wherever they possibly can.
Yeah,
like,
but they
feel
also
like her being a daughter is really going to add that much to it because it's Kingpin. He's kind of like, but then again, I guess he does have that emotional side for Vanessa. But I mean, yeah, I don't know.
It could be like they could change it to be like a stepdaughter that it's like Vanessa's daughter that he didn't know about or something like that, or I don't know, or it's whatever. I think it's 2024 in the show, right? Because 5-year fast forward from Endgame, so it's got to be like in the future a little bit. So between the end of Daredevil and now, he could have adopted a daughter and be like 5 years later, 6 years later.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah. But and again, because those are kind of technically legacy shows, they could kind of place them wherever they need them to be, right? So,
yeah, I don't think they're going to stick too hard to what Daredevil set up in the TV show. I think they're going to try to keep that separate in a way where it's like, yeah, we introduced it through that, and these shows, but like, we're not necessarily saying they're not canon, but we're not going to follow the rule set that they set forth.
Yeah.
Now, saying that, would I love to see, Elektra come back from that show and Punisher and, Foggy and Karen and everybody else from that show? Like, 100%. I think they all did a great job, and I love those characters. Yeah. So I hope they all come back somehow.
Yeah, me too. That'd be great. I quite liked all that, especially the Daredevil cast. I thought they were all good.
I would love to see Jessica Jones too, but I mean, that's me.
Yeah, I'd be fine with Jessica Jones too. I just feel like there's so many cooler things we could see. I really like Jessica Jones the first season, but the rest of them I just didn't get into. So
yeah, Bullseye would be great too. Bring back Bullseye.
That would be great. I'd love to see Bullseye again. That'd be awesome.
No, I mean, I love Jessica Jones season 1 as well. Are the second and third season lesser than? Sure. Do I think they're bad by any means? No. I think I enjoyed both those seasons. I would say Jessica Jones is probably my favorite season of all those shows, but the second and third season is definitely worse than Daredevil season 2 and 3 and Punisher season 1 and 2. So there's a balance there, but like, do I think she should have like a movie or something? No, I think it would be great to see her come back as a Disney Plus show.
Yeah. Maybe we'll see her eventually, right? I mean, the thing is it sucks to waste them because I think given the time and the effort that were put in for most of those, like I do think that they all played the role well. I do agree with Pretzel Grass. I would be fine if they recast Iron Fist. I didn't love Finn Jones as Danny Rand. I actually didn't mind Mike Coche. Is that his name? Mike Coche, I think his name is. As Luke Cage. I thought Luke Cage was great. I just thought the script sucked. Yeah. It was definitely made some weird choices. Like it seemed like it was ramping up so good in the first season, and then when they kill the main, I shouldn't say that because in case people didn't see it, but I mean
the show's 4 years old, man.
I'd be saving you. But yeah, at that mid season point where they kind of kill the main bad guy and put somebody who's like less cool in their place, I'm just like, what?
Yeah, it's a terrible decision.
Seems like a bad call because like I was afraid of Cottonmouth. He was fucking scary. And then like they're he's dead now.
That was the problem with that show is if it was those first 6 episodes, that show would have been dope.
Yeah.
But it lost its plot after that point in the show. But yeah, if you brought him back and you know, like I said, like you could do a really cool Netflix show where it's these like B-tier, you know, New York superheroes in a show, but just have a really good script and a reason for them to interact. Yeah. I'd be in, but
it'd be awesome.
You know, the Defenders had a terrible script. Fucking Iron Fist had a terrible script. So what do you want me to do?
Yeah. I mean, like I said, though, like I feel like you could give those characters to Kevin Feige and co. and like they could do something cool with it.
Figure something out. Yeah.
Yeah. So
everything in the right hands can be a lot better than what it was, you know? Like you just have to have the right people behind the camera, the right writers, the right actors, you know, the right storyline, and you could have a really cool a Luke Cage Iron Fist team up in the 80s or 90s would be great, but
I agree.
It just doesn't work for this universe they've set up.
No, not quite. So, well, I mean,
look, I mean, you haven't seen the Suicide Squad, but exactly what they did with the Suicide Squad is like the first movie didn't work. They bring in a different director that has a cool idea for the storyline, and they don't act like the first movie didn't happen. But immediately in the new movie, you know that like they were going in a different direction with this, and like that's what they need to do with this.
Yeah, like I said, I'm on board, but I mean, I mostly look forward to like Punisher and Daredevil. Like I love Daredevil. I've always loved Daredevil as a character. So
yeah, I've always thought Daredevil was really cool, and I've always been a fan of Punisher. I think Punisher is, you know, maybe one of my favorite MCU heroes. Like I've always been a huge Wolverine and Gambit fan, but Punisher was always like another favorite where I was like, this guy's just fucking violent and crazy, and I love it. Like I love that kind of shit. So that's why I love Wolverine as well. Yeah. Like I love that he just unleashed and willing to go in there and fucking decapitate motherfuckers. Like that's awesome.
Old Wolverine. Newer Wolverine's not that anymore.
No, I know, but I mean every iteration of everything is different depending on what age and what's you know comic book line you're looking at. But I think there's a lot of fun things they could do with a lot of, you know, different, like if they brought in mutants, then you could totally reintroduce, you know, Jessica Jones as like an investigator that's looking into like mutant crimes, or like there's so many different ways you could introduce these things and make it new again.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing how they do. Like I said, like the rumor is that Daredevil's in, or not Daredevil, but Matt Murdock's in Spider-Man. So like, I look forward to seeing how that kind of all plays out, because honestly, that'll be lot of fun. I cannot wait for Spider-Man. I'm so fucking excited.
Remember to buy your tickets Monday.
I'm gonna.
Because that movie will definitely sell out.
Well, my buddy Alvin's Astonishing News and Reviews, he's like renting the whole theater for like a bunch of local people, and like he invited all of us. So, but it's like weird times. Like they won't let him do it in the key time, so he has to do it like in the morning on Saturday morning. So we're going, I think, Saturday morning.
I would totally do that if it was a reasonable price.
It's free. Oh, like to actually do it. He's paying for. I don't know. I mean, he just buys everything. So
like if it was like, hey, $200 you can rent out this theater for the movie or something like that, like I would totally do that.
Yeah, but that wouldn't really make sense, I guess, right? Because like,
no, but off time. Yeah. Say it was like 10 a.m. How much money are they actually making at 10 a.m. on a Saturday?
Earlier. I think it's 9 a.m. I think the show that.
Whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah, I don't know.
It's like, sure. I would totally do that. I would way rather watch that movie alone with my friends rather than like, hey, here's 6,000 strangers and fucking everybody's looking at their cell phone the entire fucking movie.
Yeah,
drives me nuts.
I will be getting tickets. I am going to go opening night regardless because
I'll go Friday night.
Yeah, I go Thursday nights because it's usually less busy, and then I don't have to worry about spoilers. I kind of know.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm fucking so pumped. I'm so excited.
That movie will have so many spoilers online immediately that like I'm basically going to have to avoid Twitter for 48 hours.
Yep, probably. I feel like we'll probably start seeing spoilers on Wednesday, probably. So.
Yeah. I really hope that everything going on behind the scenes that like we haven't got too hyped for this movie and it can't live up to that hype. Like I really hope that they haven't built this up too much.
Me too.
That's always my concern.
I have faith though, because I remember Endgame was very hyped up, and
hyped up,
and it definitely delivered. So I'm cautiously optimistic.
Yeah, I would say the same. My expectations are here. They're not over my head, but they're level headed. Do I think that I can meet that? 100%. But I also love having my expectations set right where they can be achievable or they can overcome that and surprise me. There's nothing better than going into a movie with low expectations and then coming out of the movie and going, man, that blew me away. That was fucking awesome. Like,
I feel like that worked in my favor big time for Eternals. Like I know.
Yeah, see, I had like zero expectations for Eternals and I still was like, meh, it was fine.
I feel like if I would have went in there being super pumped about some crazy world building or shit,
yeah,
like, I would have come out disappointed. So, but I'm glad I went in just being like, it's a movie.
But like I said, like that's me in Matrix, right? Like, there's no hype for that movie. There seems to be no excitement for that movie.
Yeah,
and
it doesn't
my expectations.
That good to me.
What's that? Sorry.
It doesn't even look that good to me. Like when I don't really.
It doesn't.
I don't really Matrix, to be honest. Like I've seen them all, but like I don't really love them. Like even the first one, like I think it's cool, but like it's not one of those ones that I rewatch even every 5 years. Like
I watch it every year.
I just watched it last year for the first time in like forever. Like yeah,
I would estimate I've seen the first Matrix movie probably 50 to 100 times.
One of those for you, yeah.
I love that movie. It's definitely probably in my top 20 movies. But I think the sequels are not great. I think the second and third movies have a lot of self-gratification on the director's part of like, we can do whatever we want with these things and we're going to make a scene that needs to be 3 minutes, 35 minutes long for no reason whatsoever. And I think that makes it a lot worse in the sequels, but like I said, I don't know what this movie's going to be. The fourth Matrix movie could be absolute fucking garbage. That's fine. I hope it's not. I hope every movie's good, but I go into it with low expectations because there seems to be zero hype for this movie. And if it surpasses that expectation, then sweet. That's awesome. I get a sweet new fucking philosophic action film. I'm in,
Yeah.
But
yeah, I'll probably see it. Maybe I might not see it in theaters, but I'll see it when it comes out. I want to see Ghostbusters again really badly.
I'll wait for video, but I'm not the type of person that goes back to a theater like 2-3 times to see a movie.
That's my thing. But Kate's dad really wants to go, so I was like,
"Oh, do it, man! Bring him."
Yeah, I'm gonna. Yeah.
I mean, that's the one thing. Like, I'm excited for, like, friends that have kids and stuff like that, like, or my nephew or whatever, like, to get to see movies again through them for the first time. Like that's exciting for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to introduce my nephew to like Jurassic Park for the first time when he's like 7 or 8 and just be like, oh shit, let's see it through his eyes for the first time. You know, like that shit's cool to me. I love seeing people's reactions to things for the first time. It's super fascinating. So, you know, that part's cool. If you can bring somebody that hasn't seen a movie that you enjoy, it's going to be fun.
Yeah. Pretzel Grass says, I'm so happy Ghostbusters Afterlife is getting good reviews. Yeah, me too. That's awesome. Have you seen
Critically
it?
not, though.
No, but
like,
I think it's accepted by the fans, which is, I think...
Fans love it. Yeah. Critically, it didn't do great. It did, like, you know, mediocre. It did, like, 6 and 7s, but fans are, like, loving it, and that's where I felt, where I was like, yeah, this is a total fan service movie, and I love it.
Yeah, I like it, too. It is a fan service movie, but it's great.
Yeah. It's exactly what the movie needed, exactly how to reinvent it. And I hope that the next one, whatever it is, kind of subverts expectations. It does something different. It does something new.
I'd love that. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Well, if they keep it up, because, like, I mean, they did a lot of good character development with the main cast anyways, so I'd be down for that.
Yeah, and I think, you know, Paul Rudd's probably not going to be Ant-Man forever.
Yeah.
My assumption, I mean, I don't know, I haven't read anything, but I would assume this is probably the last Ant-Man movie. I can't see there being a 4th Ant-Man movie after this.
Yeah. So the thing is, like, you know, I think I've said to you a few times is, like, they don't have to kill these guys off. Like, they can just they can just leave them and, like, they'll come back to them when the timing makes sense, right? Or if they want to, you know?
No, but I just think, like, if you were to look at the entire MCU and the future of the MCU, the one character I would say that 100% doesn't need to carry on after this next movie is Ant-Man. Like, they're setting up X-Men, they're setting up Fantastic Four, like, they're doing all these different things. Like, you don't need Ant-Man involved in any of that. You could end his storyline in Ant-Man 3, and then Paul Rudd can go off and do, you know, a Ghostbusters sequel or whatever he wants to do. Like, he's a strong enough comedic actor that, like, he doesn't need to stick with Ant-Man. He can get any role he wants in a comedic movie. Like, you know, so I think the MCU as a whole is going to move forward in kind of a different direction. And like, I think these legacy characters are going to be kind of left behind.
Yeah, probably. But again, I feel like where the timing's right for him to make an appearance or something, I feel like we'll always get that. Because I feel like they know that, like, you know, old fans like us who have been with it since the beginning, if we fast forward 5 years and, you know, all of a sudden Ant-Man's popping by and like that adds so much to us, to our experience for it, right? Maybe he doesn't to the current fans, but I mean, it doesn't have to. It could just be anybody. He could just be whatever.
Well, like, even if they do like a Young Avengers movie or something like that, right? Where, you know, 2-3 years from now, you know, whatever, they do a Young Avengers movie and there's a moment in that movie where they're like, oh, we need to get this thing or this item or whatever. And they're like, who the fuck can we call? And then all of a sudden, boom, Ant-Man pops up for like a heist scene in that movie or whatever. And they bring him back for, you know, a 10-15 minute scene of like, hey, I haven't put on the suit in 3 years, but, you know, yeah, okay, I'll help you out in the scene or whatever. Like, there's a way of doing that in a comedic way that they can bring him back. And there's definitely no reason where he has to be like a main cast member in that movie. Yeah. It's like, here you go. You're in this like 15-20 minute segment and then boom, you're out again and away you go, you know?
Pretzel Grass says they're definitely setting up Young Avengers. Yeah. We have Wiccan. And even in fairness, I mean, your example there is not really the best because the Young Avengers have Cassie Lang, who basically does what Ant does. But yeah, I get it. But
even then, even with Cassie Lang, they could say like, hey, I'm going to call my dad and bring him in. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's a way to do it in a funny way where, like, he doesn't have to be the Avenger, but they can keep it as a secret cameo for that movie, and then he pops up in that movie, and you go, fuck, man, they did it again. They brought back Ant-Man, and it's fun, it's cool, and everybody's happy, and everybody's stoked about it, you know?
It would be funny if he became, like, the the like lead, like the I don't want to say the boss, not the boss, but like the go-to guy for the Young Avengers. Imagine they just call Cassie's dad.
Yeah. Or even like kind of how like fucking Tony has the voice in Spider-Man's suit. It'd be really funny if they had Ant-Man as like the go-to guy who's like, fuck, I don't know, dude. Like, like he doesn't have actual good ideas, but it's just fucking funny, you know?
Pretzel Grass says Loki season 2 might introduce Iron Lads. Yeah, there's another one. But I mean, we're getting Ironheart too. I'm sure they'd probably just be able to put her in there, right? I mean, I guess the thing is, like, I guess my only big thing with like the kids and like, I feel like they did it with Spider-Man, and we're seeing it with Kate Bishop. Is like both of them kind of have the same thing where like they're kind of like, I don't want to say clumsy, but like they don't really think things through. So it's like at the beginning, Kate with the bell tower, right? Like that was such an MCU Spider-Man thing, because like
totally,
you know what I mean? Peter will do something and be like, oh shit.
No, totally. Right? I really feel like they could have a lot of characters like that where they're all kind of a clusterfuck and they all kind of fuck up, and it's not like, hey, we want to be the Avengers and then everything goes wrong. It's almost like Mission Impossible 4, where it's that movie where all his like tech and all his like special abilities all fuck up. He doesn't have, you know, all this like secret special spy shit. All of a sudden everything's going wrong, and they could totally do an Avengers movie like that where they want to be the Avengers, but everything's fucked up and everybody's making mistakes, and you know, it's just that mess of a movie where it's more comedic than an action film.
Yeah. I mean, I think that would probably be fun too, if I'm being honest. That sounds like it would be pretty funny.
Yeah.
So
you could definitely do it in a way where you even bring back like Samuel L. Jackson, and he's still, you know, there bringing the new Avengers together. He's like, you know, we once had an idea of superpowered people, and now you're the next crew, and they all come in, and it's just like a fucking, you know, Mr. Magoo bumbling fuck of mistakes and fucking fuck ups, and it's like he's, you know, holding this in like, what the fuck did I get myself into? And Samuel L. Jackson has the comedic chops to do that too, you know?
Yes, he does. That would be fun. You're right. Yeah.
So there's a lot of different directions they could go, but yeah, they're definitely setting up a Young Avengers. When we'll get that, I think it'll be at the end of Phase 5. I think it's a ways off, but
yeah, I think so too.
You know, we're gonna get Fantastic Four, I think late 2023. So, you know, maybe 2025 we get the next Avengers movie.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, that would make sense. They're going to want to build up the universe a bit more too, right? So they can change it up. Because I mean, if you think about it, if we're waiting until 2025, you know, how many of our guys who are still active Avengers from the first few phases, like at that point, like I don't know how much longer Clint's going to be around. I don't know how much longer Rhodey's going to be around. Like, you know, I guess we'll see with Armor Wars with Rhodey, but like to me, I don't really find that character all that inspiring. Like, he's not that interesting. Like, I guess it's hard when you're standing next to Tony doing the same thing, but like, I don't know.
Yeah, I definitely think they're trying to bring in the new class, and that's where it's heading. And by that point, if you have the Fantastic Four kind of secured, you're probably looking at them as the new leaders of something, or at least like, you know, one of them, a new compelling head Avenger kind of thing, setting up the new thing. And yeah, you're bringing in Kang, you're bringing in, you know, all these people. You could do so many different things, and who knows? I mean, there's so many different directions they go, and the best part of it is they try to surprise us while keeping faithful to storylines we know. So, you know, there's a lot of different directions they could go, but I'm excited, man. I love that this world keeps going, you know, on Disney Plus. I think all the shows have been relatively good. You know, some are a little up and down, but I think they've all added.
Me too. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's doing what I need it to do. And it's like I said right at the beginning when they started showing that we were getting all this content. Like, to me, I'm just like, you can't put out that much content and have all of it be A++. Like, there's going to be some stuff that suffers. That's just, it's the inevitability of spreading yourself too thin. Like, you just, everything can't be an Avengers level show or have those types of consequences if it's all in the same universe. Like there has to be smaller things, there has to be little things, or and it's just like I think they're doing a good job with it. And yeah, I tying it back to Hawkeye, I feel like this is a small little nothing in the MCU, so it's kind of like a fun way to kind of like, I don't know, watch. That the outcome's not going to be too crazy because.
Yeah, but that's what I mean with like Jessica Jones and stuff, right? Is like you could have a very small New York focused, or even if they took her out of New York and like whatever, Los Angeles or whatever, doesn't matter. Some city in the United States that has like, well, just like a very enclosed storyline where it's not world ending. It's not we're saving this country. It's not all this big action scenes. It can be a lot more smaller, focused show.
Yep.
And still be exciting. It's the ability to take an interesting character and tell an interesting storyline, regardless of how big of an outcome it is on the rest of the universe. And not every show has to be world-changing, altering timelines, big event show. Like you can tell a compelling story in a smaller setting, and as long as it's written well and acted well, it can still be a very well done show.
Yeah, I agree, and I like that. That's kind of where I was going. Is I like that we're getting that. So
yeah, and that's what I mean. Is like you could take some of these B, C tier characters and really tell a compelling story on Disney Plus, and then keep the big tentpole fucking movies, separate. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to watch every Disney Plus show, because no, it's a contained storyline and it's not really, affecting the rest of the world, but it's still a compelling show if you get into it.
Yeah. And I mean, the thing is somewhere down the line, those characters may cross with some of those bigger tier shows, right? Next time we get a big world-ending thing, we may end up having to go into the streets and watching, Daredevil and Iron Fist and Jessica Jones and Luke Cage fighting, right? So,
sure, yeah, it could be fascinating, definitely. Pretzel Grass says y'all excited for the '90s X-Men movie to come back, or '90s X-Men show to come back. Yeah, I mean, I'm interested to see where it goes. I watched all 5 seasons of the original show, and I liked it as a child, and I liked it as a teenager.
When was the last time you rewatched those?
Oh, late teens, early 20s. It's been a long time.
Yeah, I rewatched a bunch of them when Disney Plus first came out because they were on there.
Yeah,
and they're still really good. I still like them. I think they're great. I like them because they keep the aesthetic of my favorite era of X-Men, but they tell a lot of the stories that predate the 90s stuff. Like, there's like a lot of like more classic, like John Byrne stories, like from the early days of X-Men, but they're just done in 90s style because that's what the team was on the show. And like, I love that. Like, I just think it was a fun way to kind of get a storyline from an older book, but kind of like a modern update, kind of. It's good.
I mean, I would actually hope that they kind of update the animation. I think by the end of that series, the animation looked pretty cheap.
It did. But did you see they showed the new the new looks? Did you see that?
No, I didn't see it.
It's not like super different, but it looks a bit more updated for like modern day. So
yeah, I think as long as they clean it up a little bit, but kind of keep like the same stylized, costumes and everything like that. Like, I think you can make it a little more modern and also keep true to the original style of the show.
I think as long as they don't go too far, they should be fine.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree.
If you look at season 1 versus season 5, they look different. Like,
oh, totally. So, season 5 looks like shit.
Yeah, I don't like season 5. It's the worst one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited too. I like that they're bringing back some of the cast too, like to do the voices again, which is great.
Yep.
I know we've lost a couple people like over the last few years that have died, but yeah, I'm as excited as I can be. We'll see where they go. I hope that they kind of like swap out some members. Like it seems like we're gonna get Nightcrawler in this a bit more, which he was just like appear once or twice in the animated series. So it'd be cool to get some more Nightcrawler and.
Yeah, totally.
I wonder who they.
I think this is a cool way to kind of bring it back to kids. Also, by that point, obviously, I think the X-Men is going to be part of the universe in live action form, and that's why they're waiting till, whatever, 2023 or 2024 to bring back the show. So
maybe, yeah.
I think that's our timeline, is like by that point we definitely have X-Men in the live action universe. So
I think so too.
Yeah.
It'd be silly not
All right,
to.
well, is that it?
I think that's it.
Cool. Thanks everybody for watching. I appreciate it. Good comment section tonight. So thank you for tuning in. Yeah. And as always, follow us at Moose Milk Media and at Customs by Matthew for all our shenanigans. Matt doing all his customizations and my Lego live streams on Monday nights. If you want to get the podcast in audio only form, follow us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Very much appreciated. Pretzel Grass just followed me, so thank you, man. Appreciate it. We appreciate anybody subscribing and following along on all our feeds. Helps the podcast grow. So tell a friend, tell a family member, tell anybody you want. Keep us growing.
Make sure you
please.
tell grandma. We need to get the 80+ demographic up.
I love grandmas watching us every night.
It's one of the flattest spots. We need them to get on there and send us inappropriate emojis that don't make sense for what we're talking about.
Yeah, the untapped market is 80+.
They've got
thanks everybody for watching. And our art is done by @JeannieMilneArt, so you can also follow her on Instagram. She did our album art, and appreciative of that. So thanks everybody, and we will see you. I'll see you Monday, and we'll see you next Friday for another episode of the podcast. Cheers.
Peace out.
See you, buddy.
See you, man.